The following program is paid for by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Pinnacle Capital Mortgage Corporation. Absolute Mortgage Company, NMLS number 81395 and Washington CL number 81395 is an equal opportunity housing lender. Tina Mitchell, MLO number 145420, is a licensed loan originator with Absolute Mortgage. Visit AbsoluteLoans.com or call 888-90-HOMES for cost information. You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell. Sponsored by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Pinnacle Capital Mortgage Corporation. Now, in the studio, local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome to the Money Hour at 11:50 a.m. KKNW, the Saturday, October 25th show. I'm your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell. Thank you for taking time to talk money. I've built a network of elite industry professionals, each week sharing their knowledge and expertise to my listeners. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you're listening to a rebroadcast. But I'm here to answer any questions that you have, connect you with any of the awesome guests that I have in studio today. Please feel free to pick up the phone and call into the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. And the lineup for studio today, Tricia Tomlinson with Staging and Design Network. Staging and Design Network is a new shared membership network for professional stagers, interior designers, realtors, builders, and their clients. So excited to have Tricia back in studio to talk about her company. Also in studio, I have Robert Christensen with Amada Senior Care, preparing for the cost of care in your home in your golden years. Would you like to maintain your independence and age in place? Talk with an expert on how to make this happen. So excited to talk with Robert today. And last in studio, Carol Bianco with Team Red Keller Williams Realty Puget Sound, determining the right path for you, caring for an aging loved one, and managing the demands of your own life can be trying and put real stress on the family. It can be a non-eventful process if you start planning early and that you have the right help through this transition. Excited to have Carol and her expertise in studio today. Great information, great guest in studio. Again, for more information or to talk with any of my guests, please call into the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. And let's go ahead and start out today's show with a little money chat. Short-term financing. Mortgage is my arena, so I thought I'd bring in a little bit about mortgages during the Money Chat today. Short-term financing is financing that you're going to keep for a short term. Usually your short-term financing is going to be anywhere from 3 to 12 months, just depending on what you're trying to accomplish. And there's great opportunities out there for short-term financing, and it's when you're not in a position for some traditional loan and you're just looking at that short-term mortgage that you can have until you're going to get into your permanent financing. Now, in the options I want to talk about today, it is for primary, second home, or investor loans are available. So if you're looking at not living in the property, that's okay. A lot of times the short-term financing is for owner occupancy, but there are some great programs out there for you as investors. Conforming loan limits and loan size depending on the area that you're purchasing in, but here in our market, $506,000 is the maximum loan amount to stay within the conforming loan limits. Property type, they're looking at doing short-term financing for residential only. So that's going to be 1 to 4 units or condos. And credit score, minimum credit score requirement is 660. So you can still have some challenges and be in the 660 credit bracket range. But anything under that, you'll need to work through that process to get that score increased. And if you've listened to some of my money chats before, I've got a lot of credit tips that can help you in the short term on repairing your credit. So you can always ask me about that as well. Loan to value, or a maximum that they'll loan up to, is a 75% loan to value, or meaning a 25% equity position. Now, sometimes there are exceptions to that where they'll go up to an 80%, meaning that you've got a 20% equity position into the home. Now, that equity position can actually be secured against the existing property, or they can do it against another property. So it doesn't have to be secured against that one. You can actually have the equity position in another property, and you can also gift equity as a collateral as well. So if you're purchasing maybe as a first-time home buyer and you're looking at getting a property that has a little bit of distress, and that's one of the areas you can use the short-term financing, and you don't have that 25% down payment. If you have family members, your parents that are willing to gift the collateral against the equity in their home, that is an option that you can look at as well. So here's some reason that you might be utilizing short-term financing. Bridge financing, sometimes you just need a little more time to sell your current home. And in this market right now, there's a lot of activity going on out there. The market's slowed down a little tiny bit, which is making it a little bit better for buyers out there. But if you're trying to sell your current home and you need to sell that for the equity to purchase your new home, it gets really tricky unless you're selling that home first and then being not having to go contingent on your new home. But that's not always a convenient thing that people want to do. You actually are trying to sell at the same time as purchasing a new one, and that's where it gets challenged in this market. So the short-term financing can be a good option to bridge the equity that you have in your current home to utilize for the equity of your new home, and then you sell your current home after you've closed on the new purchase. And that's where the short-term financing is going to come into place. You'll pay that short-term financing off after you sell your existing home. And this way you can get in without going contingent. If you don't have the equity in your current home, but you own other real estate, or again, utilizing gift equity as collateral is acceptable. Now, fix and flip, if you have your eye on an investment property that needs a little tender, loving care, and because of that need of tender, loving care, traditional financing is not going to lend on that property. They want to have this work done on the home before they'll lend money. There's a lot of property still out there in that distressed arena that would not pass a typical appraisal process through your standard financing. So short-term financing can enable you to get in there and purchase this home, do all of the remodeling, rehab that you want to do, and then you could actually flip it, or you can turn it into a permanent financing option where you're going to keep that property as an investor, or maybe you're doing this as your primary residence as well. Again, the purpose of the short-term financing in this situation is to get the work completed, and then you can get into traditional financing. Spec construction for contractors or builders that may be listening to my show today, to secure financing through the traditional bank. Maybe there's some options that there are not the options available for you. And so the spec construction financing on a short term, again, is another option. Now, for short term financing, you're going to pay higher interest rates than you would for traditional financing. So you could be looking at 10 to 12% in your interest rates. But again, this is an option if there's not something else available and you're going to hold on to it for a short period of time. The fees are going to run anywhere from 1 to 5%, depending on the risk of your qualification and the package that you're presenting. The payments are based on interest only. Turn times, typically you're looking at maybe a couple days, 48-hour turn time, so it's pretty quick process for you. No seasoning, next day value can be utilized when you're turning that financing over, and you can also use it if you're looking at purchasing at the auction house. Is another option to utilize your short-term financing. So if you have any questions, please feel free to pick up the phone and give the show a call. 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150, or online at themoneyhour.com. And are you a realtor that's offering staging? How do you manage the logistics of storing, managing, and moving those home furnishings, and from the staging to the design projects? You don't have to do this if you utilize a company that I'm going to talk with next, and that is Staging and Design Network, right here at 1150 a.m. KKNW after this short break.
Mortgage fraud has been rampant since 2007. Many folks don't know they have legal rights. Find out if your mortgage loan has wrongdoings and fraud. Magnum Law Group will do a free audit of your loan documents. Facing foreclosure? Need to stop a foreclosure sale? Magnum Law Group can help. We have experts with valuable knowledge, and we get results. Have you decided to short sale your property instead of a foreclosure? Magnum Law Group has the experience to negotiate better and faster for you.
Hi, this is Deborah with Magnum Law Group. Please contact us at 425-454-4300. You can visit our website at www.magnumlawgroup.com or call us at 425-454-4300.
Have you recently purchased a home and are wondering how you can make it your home with a fresh new design on a budget? If so, we have the answer. Go visit the Design Center at Staging and Design Network. You'll have access to award-winning design services, new and used furnishings at up to 50% off retail, and membership is only $60 a year. They work with thousands of interior designers and professional home stagers. They also create model homes for high-end builders. Go online to staginganddesignetwork.com, all spelled out, and become a wholesale member or visit their showroom in Kirkland. The address and directions are listed on their website. It's located in an industrial park where you would never expect. You'll consider Staging and Design Network a hidden treasure after your first visit.
This is Tricia Tomlinson with Staging and Design Network. Our phone number is 425-272-4430. That's 425-272-4430. And you can find us online at www.staginganddesignetwork.com, all spelled out.
This is the Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk, AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, October 25th show. I am empowering our community, providing you with opportunities and solutions when it comes to your money. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you're listening to a rebroadcast, and you can always call into the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150, or online at themoneyhour.com if you'd like to talk to any of the guests that I have in studio. And right now, my first guest, Tricia Tomlinson with Staging and Design Network. Staging and Design Network is a new shared member network for professional stagers, interior designers, realtors, builders, and their clients. And Tricia, I'm excited to have you back in studio. You've came here a few times to share with my listeners, and it's just a unique company model that you have, and I'm always excited to have you here and to share that. So thank you for coming back.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And let's go ahead and start out with sharing with my listeners what home staging is.
Yeah, home staging, it's actually been around for a while. Started out as just preparing a home for sale by reorganizing and kind of decluttering the home. And since the HGTV and these new TV shows have come out and more awareness has evolved, the home staging industry has really grown into more of a on-purpose design aspect of the home. Stagers are now going into a home and they'll many times completely reconfigure the home and bring new furnishings in and just make the home beautiful. And it's now been proven that homes that are professionally staged sell for up to 18% more in about a third of the time. So homeowners are finding it a really good value to do that.
Yeah, and I totally agree. And I think we've talked a lot when I've had real estate experts in here, and staging comes up a lot when you're looking at maximizing your dollar. And as a seller in this environment, the question, a lot of times you hear a seller, well, why do I need to do that? Why do I need to worry about it? Because there's so many buyers out there. It doesn't matter how many buyers there are. The question is, do you want to get top dollar? Right. And you just, said with those statistics. So it's really important to go through that process. So Tricia, why does Staging and Design Network, why was it created? Can you talk about that story?
Yeah, it's really about collaboration. If you want to start a staging business, it's really an expensive business to get started in, because first you have to buy a lot of furnishings, and you can never have enough furnishings for every home or every style of home. And then you have to store those furnishings, and then you have to move them from home to home to home several times a month. So can you imagine moving your home, 3, 4, 5 times a week? It's just really labor intensive. So as a prior stager, I just thought, well, this is a struggle for me. And if it's a struggle for me, I bet it's a struggle for a lot of other people who professionally stage. So I thought, well, if we create a rental pool, we could all share our resources. And so that was the beginning of Staging and Design Network. We started with a rental pool, and then I thought, well, we need to sell these furnishings too, so let's add a resale gallery. Yeah. And then I thought, well, let's advertise our services. So we developed a service directory, and then we added a design center to our fulfillment center.
Yeah.
So.
And what an amazing idea. Just brilliant.
Thank you. I don't think it's so brilliant. It's just one of those things that was kind of needed.
Yeah. And well, it's awesome. So you have a 3 membership level, and can you talk about this and why 3?
Yeah. You mentioned that we work with realtors, interior designers, home stagers, and builders. And to do that, we thought, well, we needed home furnishings for our stagers. And in order to be able to get great pricing, we decided to open an aspect of that up to the public. So really, we have a free membership, which is anyone who wants to buy from the Resale Gallery.
Okay.
And then they can also post their services in the service directory, totally free. And then we also have a wholesale membership, which is $60 a year, and anyone can come to our design center and buy at wholesale pricing, which is 40 to 50% off. And it's home furnishings and decor, upholstery, lighting, bedding, art, anything to do inside the home with the exception of appliances. And what that does is it improves our pricing because we're able to buy in volume for our stagers. So it's just a win all the way around. And then we have trade membership, which is specifically for our stagers. And we bring in their home furnishings, put it in the rental pool. We manage all those furnishings. And there's just a lot of things that we do for stagers specifically.
And you talk about managing, because I know you guys have an extensive software as well that really keeps everything all coordinated for the professional stagers that have their own furniture that's coming into your rental pool.
Yeah. Well, just imagine that you have huge fulfillment center full of home furnishings, all owned by different stagers. And somebody goes online and places an order for a rental, and the order goes out, and there might be 30 different stagers being paid on that rental. So our website manages all of the monies coming and going between our members. And it's also a place where people can go and pick out the rental inventory, pick out stuff from the Resale Gallery.
That's great. So give us a little behind the scenes and what happens in a day at Staging and Design Network.
Well, every day is different, of course, but a typical day might be we may have someone who heard us on the radio or someone who heard about us from a realtor who comes in and says, gosh, I just bought a home and I'm so excited and now I need to furnish it. Can you help me with interior design services? Or can we just buy furnishings? And of course, we work with tons and tons of interior designers and home stagers, so we provide referrals. And we'll have a stager who will come in who signs up for membership and tours the fulfillment center and looks at home furnishings. And so we'll help process rentals. And then, of course, there's the delivery of home furnishings to each stage project as well.
All right. So what do you have at the design center?
So our design center is connected to our fulfillment center. So what's interesting and a little different is you come into the design center, which is kind of hidden. We're in an industrial park where there are other there's automotive repair companies, so it's in an unlikely location that you wouldn't find unless you knew about us. So when you come in, you'll be pleasantly surprised with beautiful home furnishings that are for sale at great prices. But connected to that is also our Resale Gallery. So if you're working on a tight budget where you are moving into a new home and all your old furnishings, only a few of them will work, you can do a new design with a limited budget for new furnishings and then supplement it with some of the stuff in the Resale Gallery because it's all like new. It's just been used for staging.
So share your online presence with my listeners, Tricia.
It's Staging and Design Network, all spelled out.com. So www.staginganddesignetwork.com.
Perfect. Now, you mentioned a shared rental pool and Resale Gallery. Where is this inventory stored? What are those locations?
Yeah, we're located in Kirkland, Washington.
Okay.
This is our first pilot location. We've been launched 2.5 years, and our plan is to scale it nationally, but we're still working through the bugs of our first location. So, we're located in Kirkland, Washington in the Totem Lake area. Okay. You can find directions online.
Got it. Tricia, who manages it?
I I would be the yours truly. That
you do a lot of stuff, just like me. Busy women.
Yeah.
So I understand that Staging and Design Network also donates a lot to help women in need. And can you share this with my listeners?
We do. A lot of our furnishings, we have a Stager Palooza once per quarter. In fact, our next one is coming up December 5th and 6th. And what we'll do is sell a lot of the furnishings that haven't rented in the last 6 months, or that stagers are ready to sell because they're always updating their inventory. Mm-hmm. And sometimes those furnishings don't all sell, and we donate them. So there are two charities that we donate quite a lot to, and that's Mary's Place in Seattle and also Habitat for Humanity. I think it's not uncommon for them to come after a Stager Palooza and take a whole truckload of furnishings.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's really great, and that all comes from our stagers.
So, Tricia, what about upcoming events? What do you have happening? What's on the horizon?
Well, we have our Stager Palooza event, which is December 5th and 6th, and that's where we'll have a huge blowout sale of practically new staging inventory, and we'll also have some sale items from New Home Furnishings. And then also February 13th, we're doing a big charity event for Mary's Place. And it'll be a silent auction that'll be in our fulfillment center, which should be really fun. And you'll hear more about that between now and then. Okay.
So, Tricia, can you talk a little bit about your pickup and delivery services?
Yeah, we have our own pickup and delivery services. So if you go online and put an order for rent, we pull all the inventory, load it on our truck, bring it to the location. And when the home is sold and it's ready to be picked up, we'll come and get it and bring it back and put it all away.
Okay, wonderful. Any restrictions that you have with the rental pool and what's happening in the
Yeah, well, we're a little different than a typical rental company in that our focus is for rentals for staging. So we have restrictions on the inventory. Obviously, we're not counting on it being used. Mm-hmm. So typically, we're mostly staging vacant homes. Occasionally, our stagers will stage an owner-occupied home and just share with that owner that, if the furniture gets damaged, then they'll need to probably purchase it.
And I think this concept is just, I said it earlier in the show, it's just brilliant. It really, really is. And some of the simple things, it seems simple once somebody creates and comes up with the idea, but it wasn't that simple because nobody came up with the idea. You're the first company to do this, and it's just really exciting. And I like that you're really supporting small businesses, and it's helping. I want to say women because sometimes it's about the girls, but and the men that are out there as well in their real estate business, they're just a little stronger and they can move furniture around a little easier. So, but in really supporting that, sometimes you just as a real estate agent, you're not able to offer that extra level of service for your sellers and do staging because of everything that you have to do. And so now really anybody can do this.
Yeah, it's really about where do you want to put your energy? Do you really want to be lugging furniture from home to home? Or for realtors, for example, their time is much better spent on going out and getting listings and working with buyers.
Yeah.
And even home stagers, their time is much better spent working on the design part of the business because that's what their talent is.
Sure. So could consumers utilize that rental pool as well, Tricia, or it's for business owners on that rental pool side of it?
Anybody can utilize the rental pool. I think where the talent comes in is pulling the project together, and that's where stagers really shine and make the difference because otherwise you might as well just use your own home furnishings, right? I think the talent of a stager is really essential when it comes to staging homes.
So, Tricia, as a wrap-up before I need to take us to break, anything that you want to leave with for any of my listeners, whether there's a builder out there, a realtor, a professional stager, or a consumer?
Come see us in Kirkland. Love to see you.
Wonderful. Tricia, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Just really excited about what you're doing with your company. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Coming up next on The Money Hour, illness tends to spread faster through places where there's many people that live together. And being able to stay in your own home as you're getting through that aging process is a nice alternative, a nice option. And excited to have Robert Christensen in studio with Amada Senior Care right here on 1150 AM KKNW after this short break.
Mortgage fraud has been rampant since 2007. Many folks don't know they have legal rights. Find out if your mortgage loan has wrongdoings and fraud. Magnum Law Group will do a free audit of your loan documents. Facing foreclosure? Need to stop a foreclosure sale? Magnum Law Group can help. We have experts with valuable knowledge, and we get results. Have you decided to short sale your property instead of a foreclosure? Magnum Law Group has the experience to negotiate better and faster for you.
Hi, this is Deborah with Magnum Law Group. Please contact us at 425-454-4300. You can visit our website at www.magnumlawgroup.com or call us at 425-454-4300.
This is the Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk, AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, October 25th show. My goal is to keep you up to date on the latest news and trends in our local economy. Keep me tuned in, and I will keep you informed. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, listening to a rebroadcast to talk with myself or any of the guests that I have in studio, please pick up the phone and call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. I have Robert Christensen from Amada Senior Care, and Amada Senior Care owner and locations are in Tacoma, Bellevue, Vancouver, Portland, and Salem, Oregon. Amada Senior Care provides home care, home health, and placement services. Robert has 20 plus years working in the healthcare field. Amada Senior Care educates seniors and their families about the resources that are available for them as they age and need care. Amada Senior Care has expertise in working with seniors that have long-term care insurance. Amada Senior Care educates families about care options both in-home and in the community. Excited, Robert, to have you in studio. First time. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Tina.
We've had a couple segments that have been dedicated to our senior community, and there's just a lot of things going on. And what is the statistics now, Robert, of how many people are turning? Go ahead.
How many people are turning 65 every day? Every day, about 10,000 seniors turn 65 every day, and that number continues to grow as the baby boomers go into retirement. So,
yeah, unbelievable. And really, it's preparing for the cost of care, and the ability to prepare for the cost of care in home is what we're going to talk about today. So again, I'm so excited to have you here. So if you have a listener that wants to stay in their home, will Medicare pay for this, Robert?
That's a good question. A lot of people put away and they save money for retirement, thinking that that Medicare is there for them to pay for all their care as they age. And Medicare really is designed to help seniors out in crisis when they've had an event like falling and breaking a hip. And so Medicare is designed to help them, really get well and back on their feet. And so, yes, it's there for them so that they can come home from the hospitals, recover well, but it's really designed for short-term therapy and then in becoming well. Or if they go into hospice or end-of-life care, that's where Medicare is going to kick in. It's really not going to cover that maintenance care that's needed in the home for a lot of seniors as they age.
So if that's the case, Robert, what resources are available to pay for care in the home?
Right now, we talked about that statistic of 10,000 seniors turning 65 every day. And predominantly, when we talk about home care services, people are spending their retirement savings. They are put away money in 401ks. They've been putting them in IRAs. And predominantly, sadly, it's cash. It's the retirement. But there are lots of other vehicles that are out there. If you've looked ahead at time, and about 10 to 12% of seniors they've purchased long-term care insurance. And that's designed to help protect those assets and allowing seniors to stay in their home. So that's a major vehicle that people have. Also, there's reverse mortgages, and reverse mortgages have gotten a bad rap over the years, and the government has really taken a lot of steps and improved that model. And so that's a vehicle. Our veterans that have served in time of conflict, there's a program called Aid and Attendance that's available for them.
Okay.
And so there's about a handful of those vehicles that are there for people, but predominantly people have their retirement savings to pay for that care.
Yeah, Yeah, so it's talking with an expert that can help counsel and making sure that you know what all your options are so you can pick the option that's going to work out best for you. So what type of services can Home Care Health Agency provide in the home?
Well, there's two different types of licenses that are out in the state of Washington. You have a home health care agency, which is predominantly there to bill Medicare and help you recover after you've had an incident. And that's short-term care. Caregivers or nurses or physical therapists or occupational therapists will come in the home a couple of days a week for a short period of time to get you well.
Okay.
And that's what home health agencies predominantly do. Home care agencies are licensed non-medical care agencies, and they're there to come in, and it's more personal. And they're usually smaller companies that have caregivers and predominantly certified nursing assistants that come in the home on set time schedules to help seniors remain as independent as they possibly can in their home for as long as they can. And that's helping out with things like housekeeping, meal preparation, bathing, dressing, and those activities of daily living that when we're healthy we don't think about, but when as we age and have illness that we soon learn how fortunate we are where we were when we were healthy.
Sure. You don't know how not until you go through something like that, and then you think back all the preparation that you could have done ahead of time. So what questions should a senior ask a home care agency before they hire them to provide care in their home?
You know, when you're looking at having somebody come in, and my experience has been that seniors predominantly want to, I think of my mom. I call my mom and I ask, how are you doing? And, everything's always fine. And so just having somebody come in is a major transition for them. And so you may want to ask, how long have you been in business? How do you screen your caregivers? What do you look for in a caregiver? Have you had any major complaints or incidences filed against your license? But also you want to look at, let's say you have a long-term care insurance policy. You're going to want to make sure that the agency that you're hiring understands long-term care insurance. Ask them if they've ever filed a claim. Have they ever been an advocate or helped with the appeal process when these claims get hung up in the processing part as far as claiming and utilizing that policy that they've claimed on.
Got it. And if you're just tuning in, I'm here talking with Robert Christensen with Amada Senior Care, and really it's about preparing and planning for the future. And that's why I enjoy so much being the host of the Money Hour, and just bringing in experts in anything relating to money. And it all boils down to preparation and talking with the right expert that can help you get into the best place and make the best decisions. So what is the difference between home care and home health, Robert?
Going back to those two major differences, really home health agencies were really designed to provide short-term skilled therapies. That's nursing, physical therapy, occupational therapy, designed to get you well, and it's usually there for about 3 to 6 weeks, a few days a week. Home care agencies are those non-medical activities of daily living, the dressing, the bathing, going shopping, and that are set up really on a one-to-one personal basis.
Okay. And so how do seniors with long-term care insurance know when it's appropriate to use their policy to pay for this care?
It's an interesting question. My experience has been as those that have bought these policies have bought them usually 20 years before they actually need them. And depending on when they bought them and what generation they're in, the World War II generation, those that are 92 years old, they're holding on to them until the day that they can't get out of bed.
Okay.
Versus
because they have other resources that they might be utilizing.
No, because they are just as strong-willed, independent, been there, done that, and I don't need any help. And so these long-term care insurance policies are designed to help you stay in your home and independent as possible, as long as you can. And so it's a matter of knowing and working with your family members too. Let your family members know that you've got these policies. Okay. And every maybe 5 years, as you come into retirement, get them out. Let's review the benefits and how to claim on them, and so you understand what's in them. Because really, they are designed to help you remain in your home and be as independent as possibly you can. Yeah. But there's key triggers that you have to qualify to use them for. You just can't use them because you need somebody to go shopping for you.
Got it. Okay. And so how do seniors with long-term care insurance open a file and claim for care?
Well, that's what traditionally has happened, and long-term care insurance has really gotten a bad rap over the years because home care agencies like my agency, we do a great job of providing that one-on-one care that's needed in the home. We put care plans together, and kind of going back to what we talked about earlier, is the majority of this type of care is paid for by cash, and so. When you're opening up a claim, before you start care, you really need to open up that policy. Okay. Understand what's in it, what triggers it, putting a plan of care that caters to that policy, and then working with an agency that knows how to keep proper daily documentation that's needed to file the claim, and knows all the moving parts that go with that. Because more times than not, what happens is companies come in, they provide care, they do an excellent job, but they didn't know what was required on the front end of those claims. And then seniors have paid for these premiums all their life. They begin to use them, and then they get denied, they get frustrated, and then they drop these policies. And it's really a sad thing that happens to seniors that have these types of policies, thinking that they're covered, and when they go to use them, they end up getting denied.
So, Robert, what services are available for seniors that can no longer remain in their home?
Ultimately, seniors they want to be in their home, and when that's no longer an option, it may be because they've got dementia and their spouse that's there as well, but they're not, and it's time to make those changes, or it may just be the cost of care in the home is too expensive. Yeah. So 20 years ago there was nursing homes, and everybody had this dreaded fear of putting mom in a nursing home. Today they've got in Washington they have adult family homes that are licensed in our communities to provide that the continuation of care there. There's retirement communities that have full continuum of care, from retirement, independent living, assisted living, memory care. There's skilled nursing facilities. So there's a lot of options that are out there. And that's one of the things that we can do is help families know what's out there, what's available, what the cost of that care is, and what's the most appropriate place for that for them to receive the care. Yeah,
I mean, you got to get on the same page with your spouse too. I'm not ready to get into the senior living yet, but I know exactly what I want. I want to live in a retirement community, and my husband wants to stay in the home. So whole nother topic there, Robert. So what can a senior expect? You talked about the cost, and it can be extensive in being able to stay in your home. What are you looking at to pay for home care services? What can you expect?
Well, it depends on how many hours you're looking at and what the total care needs. If you look at Genworth does an annual cost of care every year, and the average cost of care in a skilled nursing facility is about $8,000 to $9,000 a month. Yeah. The cost of care in an assisted living facility is approximately the same. At home, depending on how many hours, if you're going to receive about 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, you're going to look at an annual cost of anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000 of care. So it can be very spendy, and so that's why on the front end you're going to want to make sure that you've planned appropriately and know when to use those assets.
Yeah, it makes total sense. So in order to provide home care services, what type of training to the caregivers do they have that they have to complete?
Well, Washington a couple of years ago passed an initiative mandating that all caregivers have at least a home health aide certificate and training. And most home care agencies are hiring at least certified nursing assistants. So these are the same level of caregivers that work in the hospitals and the nursing homes that are doing all the heavy lifting, all the day-to-day maintenance care. So predominantly certified nursing assistants, and it's a 3-week to a 3-month school and with both clinical and hands-on training, and they're certified by the state of Washington.
Yeah, that's great. So, Robert, I think you would agree with me, and I've heard you say it a couple times just in the few minutes that we've had here together in studio, that a lot of time seniors are not wanting to talk about this because they're fine, everything's going well, but really as children and grandchildren that are taking care of our parents, it's starting that conversation and starting it early so that they can prepare. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Nobody, I'm one of 9 kids, and so you can imagine our family getting together and having lively discussions. But ultimately, as our parents age, it's important to know and have a plan. How are we going to take care of mom or dad or our aunts or our uncles? And have some good dialogue about what resources are available. Yeah. And then also knowing where we at in life, if we're 90 years old, what is the life expectancy, where we're at with the current illness, and then kind of having some real discussions about how are we going to manage the care that needs to be there, and make sure that that mom and dad or our loved one is being taken care of and has dignity and respect.
Great advice, Robert. Thank you so much for coming into studio. It's a topic that I'm definitely passionate about, and have been through some things with my dad, and want to make sure that I can do it better the next time around when my mom needs that assistance. So I just appreciate so much. Again, if you want information, talk to an expert in this arena. Pick up the phone, give the show a call, 1-855-400-1150, and I can connect you directly with Robert. Robert, thanks again.
You bet, Tina.
Mortgage fraud has been rampant since 2007. Many folks don't know they have legal rights. Find out if your mortgage loan has wrongdoings and fraud. Magnum Law Group will do a free audit of your loan documents. Facing foreclosure? Need to stop a foreclosure sale? Magnum Law Group can help. We have experts with valuable knowledge, and we get results. Have you decided to short sale your property instead of a foreclosure? Magnum Law Group has the experience to negotiate better and faster for you.
Hi, this is Deborah with Magnum Law Group. Please contact us at 425-454-4300. You can visit our website at www.magnumlawgroup.com or call us at 425-454-4300.
This is the Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk, AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, October 25th show. My goal is to keep you up to date on the latest news and trends in our local economy. Keep me tuned in, and I will definitely keep you informed. If you're listening to my show at a different day or time, you're listening to a rebroadcast, to talk with myself or any of the guests that I have in studio, please pick up the phone. Call in to the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150. And I can connect you with any of my guests, or you can always go online to themoneyhour.com. And in studio right now, I have Carol Bianco with Team Red Keller Williams Realty, Puget Sound. Life changes can be exciting, and the transition into senior is no exception to that rule. Less responsibility, more time, simpler life. What a great life ahead if you prepare for it. And that really is what my conversation is with Carol today. And real estate is a big part of that transition. And so I'm just excited, Carol, to have you here first time in studio.
Yes.
And a little background about Carol. Carol is a senior living real estate professional with Team Red Keller Williams Realty, Puget Sound, retained as a sales and marketing consultant for several large retirement companies. Carol is an accomplished senior living development and lifestyle professional. She has enjoyed meeting with seniors and their families for more than 15 years. Team Red invited Carol to join them in 2013 as the team benefits from her expertise in senior living options and its important relationship to residential real estate. Her clients report Carol demonstrates a true warmth and passion for her clients and profession. Again, Carol, just very, very excited to have you here. And I'd like to go ahead and start out. Tell a little bit more about how you got into the real estate industry.
Kind of roundabout. My first career was developing fitness clubs with
Oh,
my husband. And we built 8 clubs here in Washington that were Pacific West Sport and Racket clubs.
uh-huh.
And so development is a big piece. Real estate's a big piece of
Yes.
building out multi-million-dollar buildings and then managing and operating them. Unfortunately, he died very young, so I had to go into a second career.
Okay.
And that was advertising. And in the course of that advertising, I was a partner in an ad agency. One of our major clients was Quad C, and they were developing and opening assisted living communities. At this point, it was in Thurston County in Centralia. So, big client, we needed them. They were struggling. They asked me to go down and open their Olympia location, which was called Sequoia Village. And since that's what I do, is market and open buildings and so forth. And I found it to be a very fulfilling next career, as you could put it, working with seniors And what I thought would be maybe boomers and turned out to be, no, mom and dad are 80.
Yeah.
The senior coming in is 90 plus, perhaps, 85 minimum anyway. So it was a big, big learning curve. It was right up my alley, which was, helping people with health, lifestyle, and staying active and engaged. So from there, I went up into consulting. I was consulting for them, but I went into consulting for several, as you said, real estate or retirement communities that were expanding and acquiring. And through that, I learned an awful lot about senior living, the psychology of the family.
Yeah.
Gosh, all those dynamics that are so stressful that go into it. But the big, big piece that I knew that I could help with less stress for them was their home.
Yep.
Often was their major asset, still is today for most seniors.
Sure.
So they needed to get that house in shape fast, and they needed to get full value out of that in order to afford their next move.
Yes.
Be that downsizing to a condo or downsizing to a manufactured home or going directly into a retirement community, which I think was mentioned earlier. There's many choices there as well. And often you're dealing with the spouse that doesn't want to leave and the one that does. So I kind of come into the decision where there has to be a decision and help them negotiate and navigate those feelings, emotions, help assess the situation. I can also tell where they're appropriate, where they would most benefit to move to.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
So, Carol, I know in the real estate industry, there's a senior real estate specialist certification. Can you tell my listeners what that entails?
It is a good certification. It's 30 hours of continuous education. And I actually think every agent should take that, since what person doesn't have a grandma?
Exactly. Yep.
Or an older adult that needs to... We'll probably need some directives. Anyway, that's great certification. Does not come... I guess I'm prejudiced to say I have experience at actually working with seniors and understanding their needs. Fears.
Yep.
Fear is a big part of this. It literally paralyzes them.
Yeah.
And so, I feel much more specialized in the field than just this designation indicates.
Yes.
But that is a great start.
So it's, at a minimum start, if you're going to be having a real estate agent represent you during the process.
Good point.
In that, you want to make sure that they have at minimum the certification that says they've gone through at least that 30
that
hours.
Training, yes.
So what should someone look for when they need a realtor who really specializes in senior transition? So what else can they look at to know that they specialize in that?
Right. I think it has a lot to do with integrity. The house is probably going to need to address 30, 40 years of delayed maintenance.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a roof. We're talking about things that'll really be needed to make that house marketable.
Okay.
That comes into knowing who your resources are. And as a team, we have very specialized and vetted resources for those needs. Contractors, roofers, plumbers, electrician, mostly. The panel needs to be updated.
Yeah, yes.
And these things aren't inexpensive, but they don't have to be a deal breaker, so to speak, because there's a number of ways that we can help negotiate to pay for that at escrow. And again, that comes in with the experience.
Yeah. So having the resources, and I know that you guys over at Team Rad, and the extensive process that you go through to build that team together is pretty amazing. So what kind of services do you generally provide when someone chooses to sell the family home and downsize to a home where they can age in place?
What we do is streamline that process. So we bring in experts that we've worked with closely for packing, space management, where are they going to move to, what can they take, unpacking. So it's a transition to a lifestyle. Do you really need to take that to your next lifestyle. Do you need the 12 pieces china set? Probably not. But there's still tremendous emotion involved around that. So we bring in experts to do estate sales that help the family choose which items are going to go where.
Okay.
So, and then that leaves us available to get that house in shape and get it marketed and get it sold.
Yeah, what we told my grandma years ago when she was going through this was, let's help you put together a photo album of all these special things that you have in your house and to go back to that memory. It's not the same, but it's sure a lot easier than just dismissing and getting rid of those items.
Same with Christmas cards.
Yeah.
Same with birthday cards. Some of these carry so much meaning.
Yes.
Or a collection of frog princes.
Yeah.
Take a picture, make an album of it.
Yeah,
Yes.
it makes total
Good
sense.
Good advice.
So when should a family start talking about the transition planning?
You know, I talk to people of the age, baby boomer, talk to my friends that have maybe weekly tried to initiate that conversation and just gotten totally buffaloed.
Yeah,
We're not talking about that. Generally comes when there's crisis.
Yeah.
But we would like to be able to get that process moving much sooner.
Yeah.
And I would say at least 5 years before any crisis hits.
Yes.
Then they're moving with choice, and they're also invested in their decision. And it doesn't have to be a stressful move.
Yeah.
It's, as you opened up with, it's just another chapter in life.
And if you are starting late and you're thinking, you know what, I really should have started having this conversation earlier, it's even more reason why you really need to work and connect with a team that knows what they're doing. And I had the privilege to be at a presentation over at your office, Carol, when you had some interviews by seniors that you were helping, and the story of literally they were in the process of moving and her, to downsize and her husband passed. And, it was just a heartfelt story, and her appreciation of love that went out to your team for everything that you did for her
he was
in those hard
so
times.
ill, Tina.
Yeah.
And I just had to laugh when I got an email from Kathy, and it says, "Okay, we have horses to sell."
Yeah.
we sold her horses.
Yes,
so
it
that
was
they
quite
could move.
the team effort that you definitely did to take care of her, and that was one client. So I just can't imagine how many stories of people that you have that you've helped. So you named your talk today as Life by Design, Not Default. How can people prepare for a life by design so that they don't have to age, or they can age with options?
That's a timeline.
Yes.
And that is sitting down and really forcing the situation to start talking about this. As Americans, we deny death.
Yeah.
We deny illness. We deny aging. And we have to embrace it with the family. And getting everybody on the same page, you'd be surprised how difficult that is.
Yeah.
But that's where it starts. And we work with AARP to do a number of seminars, and one of those seminars is Living Longer, Living Stronger. And just to bullet out to you what it really amounts to over a 3-day period of time, we talk about assessing your home, what needs to be done, health status, what can we project 2, 3, 4 years down the road, and hopefully the long-term care insurance is in place. But if it's not, again, we have to get full price out of that house.
Sure.
And then setting directives, the will, the power of attorneys, maybe a durable power of attorney, which is stronger. And then what we do next to say, we decide where to move, create a plan, and share with the family. That last piece sometimes isn't done.
Yeah. Yes.
And again, my brother, when I went through this with my mother, which spurs us all into action, there's nothing wrong with Mom.
Yeah.
She's happy where she is, which is the home. And I was so fortunate where my mom just came to me one day and said, "Honey, I got to go. I want to go to a retirement community."
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a gift she gave me.
Yeah.
And it was hard for her, 40 years in the house. And I have to say, even though at that point I was in senior living, I was paralyzed of how to downsize the house, how to get stuff to who wants it, have an estate sale, refurbish the house.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a team read. And that's why I've been really drawn and passionate to this work.
Yeah, and your workshops are just amazing. And I had the privilege to hear one of those at the home show. And I like how you guys went through the exercise to where, everybody had a list of questions to answer. And it really helps to open that conversation. So, as your host of the Money Hour, I encourage, if you're listening and you're a child, you have parents or grandparents, get in there and help now. Attend one of these workshops together as a family, because that really starts that conversation process, and it will help them open up to you can really find out what are your wants, what do you need, and how can I help. And that really is, again, it's all about planning and preparing to make this process a good journey.
And often neighbors are involved. An extended family, and neighbors will call and say to the to my brother or I don't think Jesse's seeing too good anymore.
Yeah.
And they don't hear well, they don't see well, and they become very frightened.
Yeah.
If they are alone in their house.
Yeah. A sad place to be dealing with it on your own. So, Carol, I've got to wrap up the time here with you, but when is your next workshop?
We do not have one scheduled at this point.
Okay. How do they get information on that?
Actually, they can email or hit my website or call.
Okay, perfect. And you can always call the show, 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150, or online at themoneyhour.com. And if you listen to any of the segments, any of my guests in studio, you can listen to the podcast online, stop and rewind to the pieces that are really beneficial to you. And Carol, I just thank you so much for coming in. And I just so much appreciate everything that you guys are doing on your team and the special care that you're giving to our seniors and their families.
Thank you.
And that's the show. This is Tina Mitchell, your host, signing off for the day. I hope everyone's having a great weekend. If you're listening to the show on Saturday or the rebroadcast on Sunday, yes, we got to go back to work on Monday. But I appreciate you taking a little time with me. And I'll be here same time next weekend, right here on 1150 AM KKNW.
The preceding program is paid for by Absolute Mortgage, a division of Pinnacle Capital Mortgage Corporation. Absolute Mortgage Company, NMLS number 81395 and Washington CL number 81395 is an equal opportunity housing lender. Tina Mitchell, MLO number 145420, is a licensed loan originator with Absolute Mortgage. Visit AbsoluteLoans.com or call 888-90-HOMES for cost information.